morning. Hi. My name is Uzoma Dozie. I'm CEO of Diamond Bank, and today I'm with my friend Obinna. Apart from being an ex-basketball player and being 7 foot tall, Obinna is the man behind Wakanow. Well, we think Wakanow is in the travel industry. So Obinna, are you just in the travel industry, and what's different about Wakanow, and how do you see yourself as a business trying to change things in Nigeria?
Thank you very much, Uzoma, for having me. I'm honored to be here. As you said, we're in the travel industry, but really we're a technology customer service company. I think when we started this business, we recognized a big gap in the way the whole travel process was being executed in Nigeria. It was a very non-transparent booking process for the customers, and the customer service level was almost zero or next to none. And so the experience for the customer was a very negative one. So Wakanow, we felt there was a big opportunity to consolidate the industry, meaning have the different components, the airlines, the hotels, the ground transportation companies, and using technology to bring together all these suppliers on one platform to enable the customer to have an making an informed decision by having all the suppliers on the same platform and negotiating the best deals with these suppliers. And they use technology to put together products, to develop products like packages, to also enhance the other services like visa processing, which are also very key in the booking process for most Nigerians, because most Nigerians need visas to go everywhere. And then they also created issuing products to able to enable Nigerians to finance the travel products, because most of the time Nigerians use their own money, their own cash to pay for travel. And we came up with innovative products like Pay Small Small.
So let me cut you. I'm a banker, so I tell my customers about technology and how it can change their lives. So you started Wakanow, a small company, and you were betting on technology.
Yes.
What made you think that really that customers were willing to change the way they should I say approach travel and use your own way? What convinced you?
If you go back to my background, like you said, I was a professional basketball player. I lived in the United States for many years. I used this platform like Expedia. Expedia is the same kind of business that Wakanow is doing today. It was an online travel agency. And I saw the convenience using that platform. 5 minutes, I could get my flights, I could get the best option, I could get my hotel, I could get my car, my ground transportation. So it was based on experience and the fact that I was able to get the best deals. There's no customer anywhere in the world that doesn't want the best deal in anything, whether it's travel, whether it's buying soap or whatever. So we felt that, and then the ease of that process, maybe to make it easier to use what was happening in Nigeria at the time when we started there was a huge growth in penetration of internet penetration. There was also a massive growth in the payments. And when we have the ATM, the electronic payments, having ATM, having the bank deploying debit cards. So the infrastructure was starting to take shape in Nigeria. We felt it was time for us to build this platform. And then customers would, as long as we're able to build trust, because the most important thing that when you're dealing with technology is that you have to have trust that what the service you're buying on that platform and the payments you're going to make using your cards will be secure and safe. And that's what we believe we're going to do.
Interesting to talk about trust, but you're in Nigeria, so
yes.
Somebody goes on the web and they see Wakanow.
Yes.
They haven't seen any Wakanow building.
Yes.
And they're supposed to use their debit card and make a payment without actually seeing somebody physical.
Yes.
I mean, how did you overcome that challenge?
So
because I understand in the US they're used to it. That's how people do it, but this is Nigeria. Most people either go to British Airways when they had an office, or they go to their travel agent. And suddenly you want somebody to, they've seen it happen in films and everything, and you want them to now change their way, and they haven't even actually seen your physical building yet.
Yes. So that's where you talk about credibility, right? So when we look at the Nigerian market, because of this credibility issue, we felt it was also important to have physical travel centers. So that's why we now have about 25 travel centers around the country and at the airports, on high streets around the country. So when people see our physical travel center, one, it serves the purpose you just talked about, which is the concern, which is that I want to be able to see a Wakanow office or a Wakanow customer center where if I have an issue, I can go there and get my issues resolved. I can also go there and book a flight or book a hotel and get the experience of even learning how to do e-commerce, which is some people still have that fear, that phobia, like this technology, I don't get it. Why should I even try? But when people go into our travel centers, they're able to be taught how to book the product and see the ease of the booking process, and I put that whole process. And once they do it the first time or the second time, they easily migrated to becoming more e-commerce savvy and be able to do their transactions on their own later.
Okay, let me ask you just a couple of questions. I mean, this, the technology, the marketing, the getting the staff.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about capital here, talking about finance.
Yes.
So, so you started with your own capital.
Yeah.
And now you're a company that has investors.
Yes.
So how were you able to get, first of all, the banks to support you? What was the challenge like? And what did you have to do to gain that credibility from the banks? And then how have you managed to even do that with bringing more people? Because most Nigerians, when they have a business, they want only 100%, and they don't want to bring in more people to help grow that business.
No, for me, I've always had the vision of building an institution. My vision and my partner's vision is being to build a company that will outlive us. So we're not here to own 100%. We knew we're building something big. We knew we're opening up a new concept, and we had to prove ourselves. So in the first initial years, of course, it was rough because people were like, "Is this going to work?" Even the banks didn't believe that it was going to work. But we had to show from cash flows and from growth that is going to work. And so when you start to see that people are migrating, your customer base is growing, the bank sees your customer base is growing, they're watching your cash flows and see that it's grown. So okay, there's something here, and then you can now start to show them your vision and show them how all of this is working. It's from the technology, it's from the marketing, it's from the customer service. So as the bank starts to monitor your growth, then they start to feel, there's something here, let's get to understand this a little bit more, and they want to partner with you. And that's what Diamond Bank has done for us over the last 4 or 5 years, and it helped us tremendously. Like you said, we were able to get investors. Our first investor was an investor from the United States, not a Nigerian investor. So they are experts in this business. They knew that this was going to be eventually work in Africa, but who was going to be the player that were going to back in Africa? So we happened to be the first company that started, and they were able to back us. And since then, we were able to get another investor in Africa Capital Alliance. I was investing in the company last year. So now people are starting to believe that the whole e-commerce and whole technology space is the future, is now and is the future of this country. Especially now that this country is going through a transition, as crude oil prices go down to $50 a barrel. The country has to diversify its economy. The area for creation of jobs is in technology, because that's where young people can be employed. And even our curriculum, our educational system needs to focus on that and make sure that we're creating software developers, people that can actually build applications, build websites, and be graphic designers. There's so many job opportunities in the technology space that we're having to outsource to other countries, and I feel that's a massive opportunity for Nigeria to create jobs. Okay.
One thing I would like about Wakanow is the names. Very simple, Wakanow. It has a African orientation. And of course, there's the face small.
Yes.
What other names do you have in the office that aligns to products?
Well, for us, my background, again, I go back to my background, living in the United States as a young man, looking at the way Nigeria was perceived, the way Africa was perceived. You couldn't even say you were a Nigerian in America 10 years ago and not get a negative stare, like, oh, you guys are fraudulent, it's all about 419. And for me, I felt a responsibility as a young man that had been successful in what I did, which is play professional basketball, to come back home and to change that mindset. And so it was very important that we named this company a Nigerian name, that Nigerians will recognize, that people around the world, when they ask, what is the meaning of this, we'll tell them, this is Wakanow, this is move now. It's a local, it's a slang, it's broken English in Nigeria. So they will start to see, and then when they look at the level of technology, the level of customer service, and see that it's world class, then they start to respect that we are able to produce develop this kind of product in Africa and take it globally. And that's really the mindset behind what we do in terms of creating our names.
So from a customer perspective now, apart from the convenience of, should I say, booking tickets online or through your platform, what other benefits do you think that using a technology platform gives you a competitive advantage over, should I say, traditional manual ways? And how is that applicable across other industries? I think one of the lessons from Wakanow is how do we even replicate that across other industries, and what other, should I say, lessons can other upstarting businesses use
Yes.
or to emulate from Wakanow?
Exactly. So the technology is a very powerful tool, and when we look at Wakanow and we look at the travel industry in itself, before I give you an example, let's look at Pay Small Small. And before in Nigeria today, how many credit cards actually exist in Nigeria? And we know the issues about credit cards. Credit card is a retail product. The banks have to have data on the customers. They have to have enough data to be able to lend to the customers. So there's high risk there. But in economies like the UK or the US, where data is readily available, the credit card penetration is very high, and that's why you see that most credit cards transactions are used to book travel. And so the travel industry in those countries are usually very high because people are able to use their credit cards to book travel. But in Nigeria, it's not the case. People are using their own cash. So you see that most Nigerians, they wait till the last minute to book their travel. Meanwhile, they're getting the most expensive tickets because they're not booking early. So when we came to Diamond Bank and said, let's create a product that will enable people to increase the buying power of most Nigerians. First of all, if they book early, they get the cheapest tickets. They're able to secure the ticket, and they have a convenient payment plan. And Pay Small Small enables you to secure the ticket at the cheapest price and pay instrumentally before your travel date. What does that do? That increases the buying power of the customer. That grows the market. People that couldn't afford to travel before are now able to travel because they're able to have a payment plan that enables them to pay instrumentally. That is what technology can do. So you can use technology to grow the size of the market. You can use technology to integrate partners. It will not be able to have a partner in Diamond Bank for Pay Small Small without technology. And that is so when we look at how do we create more value for customers, we can now use technology to say, okay, our loyalty programs we're about to launch, how do we get other partners in other areas to now create value for our customers? Because we have a large customer base that is growing, and so we can go to a spa, we can go to other merchants and say, hey, I have these customers, can you give them additional benefits so that when they book and they earn points on our platform, you can use that to get benefit. And so the credit these partners that create more value for the customer. So technology is a key thing. And this same thing can be replicated in other industries, so that we now start to create a synergy of an ecosystem of technology partners. So we can partner with a Konga, we can partner with a Jumia, we can partner with other people that are in the technology space and considering in their own industries using technology.
So we're sitting down here drinking coffee. I called you and said, let's have a talk, and you accepted.
Yeah.
But 5 years ago, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
I think the relationship with your bankers, right, has evolved. So how has the journey been from the start? I know it was very, very difficult to, should I say, get the buy-in.
Yes.
And of course, the bank wanted to. What have you learned about how to, should I say, engage with banks, and what are the things that you would share with somebody else who wanted to start a business and they needed, of course, they had their own equity, but they needed beyond the finance. They needed some assistance, support from banks. So how has that journey been?
The most important thing I learned coming to business was that you have to persevere. You have to be very strong and determined in your journey, and make sure that you're able to prove that concept. I think for any business, for any new course you chart, there's a proof of concept. And what we are doing was we had to survive every stage. When we had difficulty, we had to find a way to get past that difficulty. What our goal was to make sure we stayed afloat, no matter what, and to show that we're here to stay and we're not going anywhere. And that was the attitude that we had. And so we fought every single battle. When we had challenges with financing, we found a way. We just made sure we continue to provide the service and improve on our service, because we believe so strongly in our customers. As long as we continue to serve our customers at a very high rates and very high value, create very high value for them, they will continue to be our ambassadors. They will continue to grow our business. And as long as our business continues to grow, we will eventually be able to convince the banks to come on board and support us fully. And when it comes to banks, I believe that the bank that is able to understand the power and technology and where it can go will be the bank that will win eventually in the long run in Nigeria. I say this because, I'll give an example like a company like Wakanow. We're no longer a Nigerian company. We're now in Ghana. We're opening up in the UK. We're opening up in the US. We're opening up in Dubai to start selling from Dubai. We have plans to have operations in 23 African countries. Our service is unique and can be transferred to other markets very easily, because in Africa we don't have much competition, and because of our formula as a local African company, be able to create solutions for the African market, we can easily take this across. Now we need a partner in the bank that is willing and ready to take us across this journey, because at the end of the day, it all boils down to payments. It all boils down to facilitation of guarantees. And all these things are what would make us a bank that's able to do this. We're able to create this value chain for technology companies. And this can happen for the likes of Conga. Obviously, Jumia is already across the nation. So if you look at technology companies, you can become a global company using technology. It doesn't have any jurisdiction, doesn't have any boundaries. As long as you're able to deploy your services according to different markets and you have a plan for localization in different markets, you can be successful. And that's where the bank comes in.
Thank you very much. I think we're in for exciting times.
Yeah.
We have a new government in place.
Yeah.
I think and I think we like
direction.
We like the direction. But I mean, Nigeria, 19 million adults, very young population, and I personally think that the only technology is no longer the adoption, utilization of technology to drive business is no longer a nice to have. It's an imperative. I cannot imagine any business starting off without a technology platform, whether it's small or whether it's big. But so how do we? I mean, for you, because in other climates, people who do a lot of travel are students.
Yes.
But these students, if you look at the students in Nigerian universities, the resources available to them are very limited in terms of financing.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to finance them, and nobody wants to finance them as you would find in other climates. They don't have those resources that you probably find in universities now to have a fuller, holistic, global life.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what parts do we have to play as bankers, in your own opinion, as travel agencies like Wakanow? Because if you can get that population of people even traveling to other parts of Africa, it also adds value to your business.
It's a very good question. So I'll give you one of the updates we just did. We just acquired a company called oya.com.ng. And what oya.com.ng does is consolidated all the major interstate bus companies in Nigeria. Ifetinati, Chisco, God is Good, ABC, all on the same platform. Same thing we did for Wakanow. And now people can book their bus tickets online. Like you said, students, most of the way they travel mostly is with bus transportation. And so we're now going into that space, and we want to create value for that space using technology. So when you look at Oya is going to create value not just on bus ticketing, but in other areas. You talked about student travel. How do we facilitate their travel? How do we get them to pay small? How do we get them to now be able to afford to go on a vacation? Because sitting in the classroom is not enough. Most of my business, I give you an example, most of my business acumen, most of my business sense didn't come from the classroom. It came from the travel. I lived in multiple cities in this world. I saw different ways people did things. I lived in Serbia, I lived in Rome, in Italy, I lived in Moscow, I lived in different parts of the United States. Basketball took me everywhere. So when I was traveling, I was seeing different things, whether it's the way people did sports, whether the way people made payments, the booking platform that I use Expedia because I was living in the United States. So there's a lot of education that you learn by just being exposed. And so we have to find a way to get these people to move and to be around, to go to see Ghana, to go to see, and they can go to Ghana by bus, they can go to other parts of the country by bus. So it's not just necessarily just going from your home to your school. You can now start to organize trips, local trips, and maybe regional trips. Then from there they can migrate to maybe international trips. But how do you get into this market? You need technology. Using technology, not only are we selling them tickets, but we're getting the data. By getting that data, we're able to start to track the way they move around, the way they spend, and we can start to create products targeted at this particular sector. And so I think that's why it's so important that what we are doing is not just about going to book tickets. It's about going to create a value for, first of all, identify this group, consolidate them, have their data, and start to share this with our bank, to say, okay, these are the people that travel. This is the number of students that travel. These are the universities that they go to. That data is not really readily available. But when you have started to book their travel, their tickets, or when you start to book the ticket electronically, you're able to capture this data and be able to create interesting products for them. I give you an example. When I was in university, I had a credit card. I had a credit card in University of Maryland, $500. Came to school, they gave us a credit card. I think it was Capital One or something. They gave us a credit card. You start to learn how to pay and manage money, which is also the problem, because most of these students have never been given any kind of form of credit in their life. And the bank can now look at, no, maybe we can start very small with this student and start to see when they find a way to get to a job, they can be able to pay back and all that kind of thing. So I think it's very interesting.
So I don't want you to think that I brought you here to interrogate you. So are there any questions, anything you want to know from my own perspective as how we are adding value or we're trying to change things in Nigeria as a body of bankers?
I have a few questions, because I think that, first of all, Diamond Bank, looking at what you have done with your mobile platform, with your internet platform, obviously Wakanow integrated into your platforms and you book tickets, and you're creating a convenient way for people to pay, which is also a great thing. But I think that, what is the plan? What is Diamond Bank's plan? Seeing the way Nigeria is today, and the way our economy needs to be diversified, how does Diamond Bank view its role in that diversification? Is Diamond Bank going to be aggressive with technology companies, especially in the technology space? Which other space, like agriculture and other sectors, is Diamond Bank going to be playing in? And what are the plans for that, if you don't mind sharing?
Well, I think, thank you, good question. Our simple strategy is to, should I say, provide services for customers, all our customers. But we believe that the future of Nigeria is in the retail space, because that is the almost on the sales space. And we also believe that the platform in which to drive those objectives is using technology and using the digital mobile technology.
Exactly.
Because from a customer perspective, it is one of the most convenient things to use. You always have it with you. It is cost effective. And it also, the added security, the fact that you have your phone with you 24/7 means that it is very difficult to steal. People lose their wallets, people don't lose their phones anymore.
Exactly.
So it has vital information. And it also allows you to have global access.
Yes.
You know, when Diamond Bank first started, our mission was to be in key financial centers in the world. But now, really, it is that to be able to provide 24/7 service to all our customers globally.
Yes.
As you know, Nigerians do Wakanow.
Exactly.
Everywhere in the world.
Exactly.
I was in Vietnam, even in Russia, it's Nigerian. So if they can access their bank service wherever they are, who needs
physical branches?
A physical branch location. So we believe the future is mobile, and I think the advantage Nigeria has over other developed countries. First of all, we have no legacy system.
Yes.
And I think we have one of the best payment platforms in the world, settlement system. All you need to do to transfer money to people, account number and bank, and simple. And if you're mobile, it's so much easier. So our drive is, first of all, we're going to really drive mobile financial services and not mobile money like you find in Kenya, which is just transfer. So we want to offer full banking services to all our customers, regardless of if they are in our better proposition, which is taking banking to market women, or a diamond yellow, which is for people who are underserved. So we think that, first of all, the future of Africa is digital. And with companies like Wakanow, Hunger, and certainly Diamond Bank, and we will be able to come together to build value proposition that goes beyond just, from our own perspective, banking, and your own perspective, which is just more, it's more than travel. It's coming up with a total value proposition. And so for us, how we're going to, should I say, play our role is to identify people who have the same platform, who have the same vision, for us to actually just try to add more value to customers, and also now take on the world.
One advice I think I would like to share with Diamond Bank is, I don't know, your banks, I don't know if you have any investment banking units. Do you have any investment banking units?
No, we don't. We are fully, I think we've tried that, and now we just believe that stick to what you do with that, which is, identifying gaps in the market for customers, and just providing those services. But then, I'm going to try and preempt what you're trying to say, is that we don't need to have an investment arm. We just need to know people, right? Which is what we are. We're brokers. Find people who have surplus who want to invest in companies like your own company, or people who have great ideas. And that's what we are. I think that's what information and data gives you. It gives you information of people who want to, who need but don't have,
Yeah.
and people who have the need to actually put it in.
I think some of the value you can create as a bank is also to have a partner. Maybe if you're not doing it directly, but have people that you work with as an investment banking area to be able to come into this technology space, because it's not to fund these technology companies. There's a lot of value being created, but as you know, most of the value being created in technology companies are intangible assets. They're not physical assets. And so the value will eventually be reaped eventually when the company decide to maybe do an IPO or exit or those kind of things. So those are the areas that you also should look at to see, how do I carry this company through this journey and then eventually be able to go to the next time when the company decides to maybe, if the investors try to exit or they try to cash out or, find to do an IPO. That is the next level of what you're going to see in the technology space, the way a diamond bank should also give like a full bouquet of services that for this technology, because that is, if you look at the way technology companies are structured and the way their growth path, eventually they usually go do an IPO or they get acquired by one of the other big players in their space. So those are the kind of things that diamond bank should be looking at, especially now the company.
I think we have to stop here now.
Yes.
Because I know that we can go on forever.
Yes.
And we have to go offline because I think we're divulging too many secrets.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you for coming.
Okay.
Thank you, Neo, for giving us good coffee.
Yes, thank you.
I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thank you.